Thanks for coming along on another dive. I'm JP Falaise and this reef is Gabriel. We're on the southernmost side of it, large flat walls of loads of coral and bits and bobs, and then we're going to head down a sandy gully around the edge of the reef, which is quite a big boulder bed, and then back up over the top. Again, we're going to try and double dip it, and by double dipping I mean me and Mish go in, have a nice swim in the slack water, and then Phil and Jen straight afterwards to get back in and have another swim in slack water. So we got to go in where there's a little bit of tide starting, and then slacken off. I think we're very slightly too late getting in because the tide is completely slack. Let's take a good close look at this cotton spinner sea cucumber. They're weird when you get right up close. They've got little white dots on the end of the spikes, and it's kind of yellow underneath. Looks like someone's put a really poor spray paint job over the top. Plenty of scallops here too. But I'm not collecting scallops today. This is purely a tourist dive. We're at 21 metres now. We're probably going to head down to probably 25 to 30 metres. See what it's like down there. Because the sun is over my left shoulder and we're heading down into deeper water, I think behind the reef's going to get a bit dark. A bit twilight. There's loads of scallops. One here. One here. Couple over there. Another one here. They all look big enough as well. Like I say, not here for scallops today. They get to live another day. For me, the backside of this reef is probably the most colourful side. Check Mish is okay. Good look at the air, 200 bar, plenty. Even though I haven't got my line with me today back to the surface, basically we're on the bottom and we're going to send a delayed up after 15 minutes. I still like to check above me, don't know why, force our habit I guess. There's a line. Someone's crab pot has a big arc in it, so it comes down over the reef and then heads down into the deep. Not going to cause us any issues. If I had my bag with me, I'd have to swim over the top of it, but we can just glide underneath today. Almost 25 metres and we got 14 minutes bottom time left. In my head I normally either use my air or my bottom time for my turnaround point. I think my turnaround point is probably going to be about 10 minutes. Then we'll start heading back up into the shallower water. As I said, it goes nice and deep here. Probably get down to 45 metres, no issue. But we're not going to be going that deep. It's almost rapture of deep when you're looking down. Kind of, don't know if it's just me, but it makes me want to carry on going deeper and deeper and deeper. Still loads of scallops down at this depth. To be honest, you'll probably find more and more the deeper you get. Try and stay fairly close to Mish. After all, she is meant to be looking after me. .6 minutes bottom time. We're going to have to start making our way back up the reef now. Obviously the shallower we go, the more bottom time we'll get. Also, this is what I've been looking forward to having a look at. Some of the older divers tell me that normally you get this kind of arrangement where you get 3 or 4 hens around the outside of a bull. I've got a feeling this big boy here is the bull, and this is his little posse.
Okay.
I've found that one of them's always a little bit more dominant over the others, and it's the one that's not too bothered about going out and walking around. It's great to see them in these little groups. That's always good for the future. Let's work our way back up this reef, over the top. This is kind of a bit of a dished area at the bottom of the reef. Shame we couldn't explore it for a little bit longer. But I put my delayed up, we're at 15 minutes. We should come across the other end of the crab pots in a minute. They were heading this way. Here they are. Looks like there's crabs in it. Pop over the top and carry on. Hundreds of these little painted gobies right up in the shallows. This bit is the highest point of the reef. This is the bit that you would hit if you come past in the boat. Randomly on the west side of it, there's a massive overhang. Almost you could swim right down underneath. Obviously I can't go in because I've got my rope that goes back up. With my delayed, so Mish goes down to see if she can see anything. Spent the last few minutes trying to retrace where we came in. And by luck more than judgment, this is exactly where we dropped in between these two rocks. So we're now going to head north around and see if I can find myself an octopus. I'm yet to get one on camera. I have seen one, but I just haven't recorded it. And our rules are, if you didn't record it, it didn't happen. The trick to finding them is looking every little crevice. No, just a leopard goby and a starfish in that one. We'll carry on. It's a nice colourful pelting gear. They're the striped variety, or some people might know them as bibs. Now these normally get found on shipwrecks, to be honest. They love iron and love steel, but in the shallows here, kind of like a nursery area, you find them hidden underneath the rocks, and they will hide under the rocks when there's loads of tide, but as you can tell there's no tide, so they're out, probably getting something to eat. Coming up to half an hour in the water, and also only 5 minutes left in bottom time. Look under one more rock if I don't find anything. Another thing that we need to look for is shells of some sort, because the octopus takes stuff in there, eat it, and then push the shells outside. This is the sort of thing you'd be looking for. This is a ormer shell, or in the rest of the world everyone will know it's an abalone. In Guernsey they're called ormers. An ormerou in French. I don't think we're going to find any octopus around here. I think it's time we went back up. Let Jen and Phil have a dive. That's awesome. That's really relaxed, even the dark side. What's up, mate?
I'm just here fixing my blowgun.
Yeah, I can see it. It's there. There we go. Back wings down. There we go. We come back up here to this head. Gabriel. That pot I think we seen was these ones over here. 7 meters over the top of the head. This thing will, on a spring, you can hit it. And the striking marks for Gabriel, you can't quite see, but on the end of these rocks here, there's a stick with a round thing on, and the pepper pot, which is that white bit at the top of the hill, is the striking marks. If you got them two in line, you will hit it on a low spring. So it's going to slowly potter all the way up there. And Phil and Jen, I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to drop them right there, and then they can go down this big gully, this gully down here. Oh, back. This gully is where we swam down. It's awesome. We're going to round here and then back up to the head. It's awesome, awesome dive. Very relaxed.
Yeah, I know.
No messing around, he's gone. Jed's gone. And there they go. You can probably see the head straight away. So it's not deep at all. Saying that, 20 metres is fairly deep. We're drifting south now, very slowly. Is that nice and lovely? Nice and calming, nice and slow.
Yeah. That was wonderful.
Nice dive. Looks like you've done the same route we did.
Went all the way around.
Yeah.
Those are happy days. I even made Jen reel her SMV up from 30 metres.
Oh, that's a bit hard.
Yeah, that was not fair.
Yeah.
That's not fair. Yeah. Good fun. Plenty of crayfish, eh?
Oh no, yeah, loads of crayfish on that
How many do you have?
on that east side.
5 or 6.
5 or 6?
Yeah.
Little ones.
Yeah, that's good.
Baby crays. Sorry, Tim, we're forgetting you, isn't it?
Just see some fins coming up.
Yeah. They were so camouflaged we didn't see you.
It's about time we went around the south coast to have a look for some of these pesky little octopus. Seems to be more locked down this way. It can be very complicated how we work out where we want to dive. Sometimes it's even as complicated as pointing to something that looks green on the chart and we just dive in there. I suppose you could say it's a locky dip dive. These little gullies that we keep going up and down are a little bit antisocial because it can only take one diver at a time, one diver in width. There is loads of stuff here. Makes it really awkward for trying to film, trying to squeeze in sideways. Can't really see much. But these little valleys don't last forever. There'll be a point where we get to the bottom and we come out the end. Poor Mish is following up behind, and I think I might be kicking up a bit of dust. It's quite fine, some of this sand on the bottom. Here we go, we're at the end of the valley now. Just have to wait for Mish to catch up. There's plenty of fish swimming around up the top of my head. We're at 24 metres. We're fairly close to the location that me and Phil dived a couple of weeks back, maybe a little bit further along the coast. Again, we've got these lovely bright white sandy bits, which actually are a bit of a relief because the sun is starting to go down a bit now, so it's almost twilight feeling. Definitely not as light as it was the other day. The only way to explain the seabed around here is kind of if you look at a hand and there's fingers, and the fingers of the reef and the sand is in between the fingers. Talking about fingers, there's some dead man's fingers. Nice big sea urchin as well. Very similar to the other day, there's so many sand eels. Can't believe how many sand eels there are. Every time you touch the sand they seem to pop up outside the sand. Still kind of find it quite weird how they actually live under the gravel in the sand. I suppose that's how they got their name. Well, we've had to make some decisions. We either carry down into the deep and go around the outside of these reefs, or we come up and over the tops. If we come up and over the tops, we save bottom time, and we get to have a look at stuff on top of the reef as well. You kind of see what I'm on about with the fingers of a reef, the sand up in between, and every one you go over has got these thousands, hundreds of thousands of sand eel. Sand moves really easy when you kick it. Been 15 minutes in the water, still got 9 minutes bottom time and 140 bar of air. Oh, it's my favourite collared wrasse. You can really see how effective the coloration on this wrasse is on this type of environment. It's in its element here. As with all dives, you need to make decisions, and your decisions they could be good decisions, they could be bad decisions. But my decision is to come around the outside of this one and up the next gully, and we'll just carry on up that until we get to the top of the reef. There's less starfish than I'd expect for around here. Maybe there's just too much tide for them. You get the odd one or two, but not a massive amount. Not like, well, actually saying that, down the west coast there's a few, and it gets very tidal down there. The sand eel get very skittish when you box them in, so they won't swim over the top of the reef. I don't know why, they just only swim above the sand. Still haven't found myself an octopus. Probably seen loads. Probably just swum past and probably really well camouflaged. This crayfish is well worth a stop. Really colourful. One thing I've noticed about them is their eyes. They've got weird square bits inside their eyes, almost like miniature windows. Got their little things out like little Spanish dancers. Let's zoom into the eye. See that darker blue square bit? It's almost like a miniature window. Right, I've hassled in for long enough. Leave it be. Decent sized one. So the top of this reef has ended up into being quite a dished area. Kelp everywhere, loads of overhangs. What I am hoping is to see a few big wrasse. Even better would be some pollock, and even better again would be some bass. I'm sure we will. Here's some big pollock. One thing that I find quite weird is when I used to fish quite a bit, I always used to look for some deepish water for these pollock and bass. But they're not, they're always on the top of the reef. But then again, you're going to lose a lot of gear in these weeds. We should be seeing bass. Where are the bass? Here we go. Here's a bass. Singular bass. I'm not sure how heavy. 3 or 4 pound, I suppose. These larger ones are normally a little bit more docile than the smaller ones. They will come up quite close. Unbelievably shiny. I think that's probably why I like them so much. I like shiny stuff. Oh, Mish has found something. That's the universal sign for lobster. God, it's a huge one as well. Hidden under this rock. It's an absolute monster. Size of the claw. Am I man enough to put my hand under and grab it? Nope. Let's get back to this bass and this pollock. Probably turn my lights off. I don't know if they'll come close with the lights on. Can't believe this snot is still in the water. It's hanging around forever. There is a small bass right in front. But I don't think I'm going to get close to it. We need to start heading up as well. Starting to run out of bottom time.
It's your 100th dive today.
100! You do know that the time served thing is to dive naked.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, too cold.
To park this occasion, fish, there's a packet of toast.
Fruity pig.
Yeah. Yay! 100 dives.
Right, you can open them because by the time I've got all this stuff.
It's only 7 o'clock. The sun's going down.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite.